fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in San Juan, Puerto Rico for the don'ts of visiting San Juan. And we know San Juan is very popular for tourists to come visit, whether on cruise ships or for a weekend away. And before I really get in depth of the don'ts, I really think we need to start with a really important don't for San Juan. And that is, don't think visiting San Juan is going to be cheap. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to the Caribbean, I'm going to Puerto Rico, it's going to be a cheap vacation. Look, I'm not saying it's expensive here in San Juan, but it is not a cheap place to visit. When you go out to eat, I mean, this is a large city on an island. That means you have large city prices, you have island city pricing, and so you have to take that into account. Now, I'm not saying it's like New York prices and San Juan prices are the same. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, think about a large city in the US when you go out to eat and drink there, or you're going out to a large city to eat and drink in Europe, you're going to have comparable prices. So don't expect it to be a cheap visit when you come to San Juan. Now, don't expect it to be expensive, but it is something you need to think about, okay? Because I see a lot of things online that really preach the cheapness of this, and it's not, okay? I'm sure the locals will help me out on that one, all right? So that's kind of a bad don't to think about when you're coming here. Now, another don't I want you to know about coming to San Juan is you don't have to worry about your safety too much when you're here in Old San Juan. Now, I'm not gonna say it's perfect, but I'm gonna say is you're gonna have a really easy time going around with your kids, or if you're a solo traveler, it's really nice and pretty safe here in Old San Juan, and that's really nice. But you do need to watch out maybe for a pickpocket or two sometimes down the old town, and if you're gonna have a car in town, you're gonna park, do make sure you lock it up, but otherwise it's pretty safe down here, which is super cool. Though I will say there are a couple of dangers when you are here. One, don't be silly when you're picking your shoes when you're coming to San Juan. Look, you have cobblestones, you have cars that are close to the road, so maybe high heels, maybe, you know, your shoe choices could be important. So like bring a good pair of walking shoes, because you're gonna walk around, whether you're going to El Morro, or you're gonna go to San Cristobal Castle, you're gonna see some of the museums here, taking in the architecture. It's gorgeous, but you need good shoes. So don't be silly with your shoes, because you could trip and hurt yourself, and that is a safety thing. Another safety thing is that big ball of gas and fire in the sky, the sun. Don't forget to bring good sunblock, okay, when you're coming here. A hat as well to protect yourself, because even though you're not going to the beach when you're in San Juan, okay, don't think you can't go to the beach in San Juan, but honestly, there's other parts of Puerto Rico you want to go visit for the beaches. This is more seeing culture and history, but honestly, you'll still get burned, so don't forget that sunblock and the hat. Also, don't forget some bug spray, because there are bugs here that you might get bit. Liam got one right between the eyes last night, so he looks like he's a teenager fighting off a pimple instead of a little kid with a big, mosquito bite. So don't forget the bug spray either. See, and another thing you can do to fight off that sun is also don't forget about the culture and the museums that are here in San Juan. There's a number of museums you can go visit. Yes, you can go see the castles like El Morro, or you can go to San Cristobal Castle, which are great. San Cristobal, you need more time. It's a lot bigger than El Morro. El Morro's a quick go through, but San Cristobal needs some more time. But there is a museum, the Museum of Art of Puerto Rico, the Contemporary Art Museums that's here, the Museum of the Americas. I mean, there's a lot of really cool museums you can go check out to learn about the culture here, which is really important, because then you get a lot more out of it than just going, wow, look at all the pretty painted buildings. And when I think of the pretty painted buildings, another don't I have for you is there La Perla neighborhood, and I would say is, don't go to La Perla neighborhood if you're a tourist. I know it looks cool with all the painted houses. You're like, oh, this would be great for the gram. It's not a neighborhood that tourists really should go to, so I want to give you a heads up for that. Now, another disappointment I have for you in terms of the don't is, I know when you think about Puerto Rico, one of the things that comes up are the bioluminescent bays. There's actually three of the 5 bioluminescent bays in the world are here in Puerto Rico. Unfortunately, none of them are near San Juan, okay? You got one in the northeast part of the country, you got one in the southeast part of the country, and you got one out on the island. So it's not gonna be really feasible for your weekend visit to go out to them. If you got more time, definitely do it, but sadly, don't expect to see the bioluminescence bays when you're here in San Juan. Now, one thing though that you definitely don't have to worry about when you come to San Juan is don't miss out on the Puerto Rican food. Now, when you walk around, you'll see every single fast food joint you've ever seen, and there'll be cool locations, like one of the cool squares right on the other side of the town hall has the prettiest outdoor Wendy's I've ever seen. And the Burger King down the way is gorgeous, but you're not gonna eat that. make sure you're eating the Puerto Rican food when you're here. Yes, have the mofongo. Yes, you will love that. Believe me, plantains in all their different forms, from tostones, tamorillas. There's so many great foods to have that are from Puerto Rico. Lechon or pernil, like pork. Oh my God, it's so good. You'll eat so well when you're here, but make sure you go to a place that have Puerto Rican food so you can really get a great taste of the island, because you have, can you see me getting excited? I need to slow down. Because talking about Puerto Rican food makes me really happy. And when you're here, you have Puerto Rican food, you will be happy too, okay? Oh, and don't even get me started on the drinks, but I think that's another don't I have to have for you. Don't forget to go out and have cocktails when you're here in Old San Juan, because there's a bunch of bars around here you can go to, and some will have, drink specials so you can save money that way. But the thing is, there's so many, this is the home of Bacardi, okay, in Puerto Rico. And yes, you can do a tour when you're near here, so don't forget about that. But there's so many great bars. We were at La Factoria last night having drinks and just the Pina Coladas, which is, is from Puerto Rico. Okay, you go to the Caribe Hilton, or there's another place that says it started from, but you have so many great drinks. You don't want to miss out on that if you are here, because they're very much, sit back, have a drink, and talk with a bartender kind of places, which is awesome. And I think that's another don't. Don't worry if your Spanish isn't fluent when you come to San Juan, because so many tourists come through here, and it's a U.S. territory. English is spoken pretty much everywhere around San Juan. You go to other parts of Puerto Rico, no, it's not as prevalent, but here you don't have so much of a problem with it. But I will say this, though I say don't worry about not speaking fluent Spanish, don't forget to at least try some Spanish. Even if it's just quisiera that, quisiera means I would like. It will make a big difference. Your gracias and por favores go a long way. So at least don't forget to try some Spanish when you are here. Because one thing I gotta tell you is, don't ever be afraid to ask the locals here. People in San Juan and throughout Puerto Rico, they love their island, they love their towns, they love their cities, and they want to share their city with you. They want to share their culture with you. So they will tell you the restaurants to go to. They will tell you their favorite bar to go to. They'll tell you the better museum to go to. Coming with your kids, not sure which museum to go to, they'll probably say, go to El Moro and go to San Cristobal Castle. Kids will get history from that and enjoy it. The museums, they might get a little bored at it. Like, oh, that's super, thanks, Talia, love you. Okay, and our fans from Puerto Rico have been amazing with sending us so many recommendations. Like, I wish I had time to go see all the things that you recommended. But don't be afraid to ask, whether it's at your hotel, your Airbnb, or just when you're going around, it'll make a huge difference on your vacation here. Now, being a U.S. territory, one thing I think is important about coming to San Juan is you don't have to worry about the dollars or the money, because they use U.S. dollars here, and ATMs are all over. Also, I've seen, most places took credit card. It was no big deal. Though I will say it's a good idea to have some dollars on you just to make some transactions faster. But overall, we haven't had any problem, especially in Old San Juan. You don't really have too many issues just paying with credit card, but do have U.S. dollars when you are here. Now, another thing I think I forgot to mention, the safety part, but I do want you to know is, don't drive around San Juan. The traffic is crazy, the honking is crazy, the music is crazy, but the driving signals optional, people passing in front of you, it's just the way it is. Don't drive if you don't have to. There are taxis, there's rideshare programs here, so you're fine doing that. Actually, what we've done is we've rented a car for Puerto Rico, but we actually took a taxi in from the airport to the old town, and then we talked to that taxi, we got his number. He's coming to pick us up in a couple of days to take us back to get our rental car at the airport, so we don't have to deal with the driving here, and it is worth it to save the headaches, okay? So try not to drive when you are in San Juan. Just use the rental car to go explore more of the island, maybe not San Juan. Now, another thing I think I should mention is don't forget to check the operating hours of restaurants or bars you do want to visit, because there's so many good bars and restaurants here. If you don't eat well here, that's on you, not on the city, okay? But I think it's important you look and see their operating hours, because some will close relatively early. Like, we've seen restaurants that close at 6 or 7 o'clock. Some close at 9 or 10. And so you want to make sure you see is, when are they open? When are the restaurants open for me to go to enjoy? Some places, they were open up at 3:30. Some were open all day. It's really important to check. But also, if you're going to go to places that are bars and restaurants, you might notice that the restaurant part might not work all day, but the bar will. So that's something you might drink your calories for the day, which isn't bad here. Now, another thing I need to prepare you for is, maybe you're on a cruise and you're coming here, or maybe you're going to be here when cruise ships come in. And I would say is, don't freak out on excursion day, because when those cruise ships come, you can tell when all the tourists are coming through to see all the great sights that you're trying to see as well. When that happens, just have patience. You're spending the night here, you're staying here, so most of the cruise people are gone by the evening, so you get the city to yourself, which is really, really great. But just be ready for that onslaught of people coming off the tour boats, or off the cruise ships, I should say. And if you are going to stay here, you're going to stay in San Juan, another don't I have for you is don't wait to book your accommodation. This is a super popular tourist destination, especially on weekends, from people calling me from all over the US. So do book ahead, otherwise you might be out of luck, or you might be staying in neighborhoods you might not want to. So make sure you're doing that early. And also, if you're from the US, don't forget, if you're flying in from the US and you're an American citizen, you don't have to have a passport to come here. This is a US territory, so you can use your driver's license to fly in, which is really cool. Another thing I think is important to mention is if you're going to be staying at an Airbnb or a rental or something, you need to know is the pipes here aren't always fantastic when it comes to the plumbing. So one thing I would say to you is don't throw anything extra down the toilet. Keep it to the stuff that comes out of you and toilet paper, and make sure you're courtesy flushing a few times because the pipes might not be able to handle it, and you don't want to make that phone call to your renter or your rental agency or your Airbnb host saying, yeah, the toilet's blocked up. So just be aware of that. And one thing that I learned when I was at the airport is don't think you have to, drive yourself to other parts of the island. If you come in and you get in the taxi stand at the airport, they actually have standard fees to go to all different places all over the island. So if you want to go down to Ponce or you want to go to Rincon, there's drivers that will take you from the airport there. No, it's not cheap. It could cost you 100, 127, 150 bucks, whatever, to go to farther parts of the island, but it's an option out there. So if you don't want to rent a car, you're like, look, I just want to go to Rincon and surf and hang out with my friends that live there. Well, you can get a driver that'll take you there and a driver that'll bring you back. So that is something I think might help people that are scared to drive here. But don't be too scared. It's just hectic city driving most of the time when you're here. But just know that for an option. And the thing is, I know I've been focusing mostly out here on Old San Juan, talking about these domes. But honestly, I got to say is, don't just stay in Old San Juan. If you have the time, there's tours you can do that'll take you farther afield, or you can go to other parts of the city. I mean, for me, some of the good tours you can do is you can go to El Yunque National Forest. You go do hikes out there. There's cave systems you can go visit. There are further options and closer day trips you can do from here, and especially the beaches. I would do a day trip to some of the beaches versus a city beach, but you'll have fun at the beach anywhere you go in Puerto Rico. Anyway, I hope this helps you get ready for San Juan. I hope you enjoy it. I know we have, from the food, the fun, to the people. We've loved it, and I'll say bye from here in San Juan.